Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar, 15 Facebook Live Ideas for Real Estate with Eric Hammond. Allison James Estates and Homes is a nationwide brokerage which offers 100% commission, 100% support, and zero franchise fees. Why split your commission if you don't need to? You earned it all, so shouldn't you keep it all? Our goal at Allison James is to always give back to our agents by providing education, training sessions, live webinars, live events, and full broker support with the most up-to-date tools and technology available. We are always looking for new tools and ways to be able to provide them to our agents at a lower or discounted price so you can keep your hard-earned money. We are proud to announce that Allison James Estates and Homes has recently partnered with the #1 lead generation, CRM, and automation system, kvCORE. We are thrilled to provide this amazing product at a low cost to all our agents. Signing up for kvCORE outside of Allison James would cost over $500 a month. We are proud to provide this product at a deeply discounted rate. Today's webinar is sponsored by our preferred lender, Movement Mortgage. For more information about Allison James Estates and Homes, please visit us at www.ajicareers.com. If you have any question throughout today's presentation, please submit your questions into the chat box on your Zoom control panel, and we will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. I would like to now introduce you to our speaker today, Eric Hammond. Good morning, Eric.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Hopefully you can hear me. There we go. Okay, got my video up, which is good. We've had a few technical issues this morning, so I think we're good. So if everybody can hear me, I know we have a bunch of people in here, so that's awesome. If you want to just maybe type in the message comment box or the question area, the chat box, just let me know that you can hear me well. I just want to make sure that our presentation is coming into you guys. And sorry about the lighting here. I like to stand when I present, and I got this kind of weird corner of my office here where it allows me to stand and I can have more energy and be more enthusiastic rather than just sitting for the whole time. So as Alicia said, we are talking about using Facebook Live, and it's one of those incredible tools that I don't think most people can appreciate the value of it until you've been using it for long enough. And I'm sure that many of you have gone live to do an open house or talk about a new listing or some form or the other, right? And there's a lot of programs that offer a live feature like Facebook Live. Instagram does it, YouTube does it, LinkedIn is even starting to roll that out now to a few people. Twitter's been doing it forever. So you could probably take these same exact principles that we're going to talk about on Facebook and roll them over to these other platforms. So if you're not huge on Facebook or you don't love it, just remember that you can take these same principles and do it on these other platforms. And you should. You should have a live version of this on every platform that you're comfortable with. And a lot of people that we talk to say, well, you know, I'm huge on Instagram and I'm okay on Facebook, but I don't have anybody on Twitter. That's okay, but you should make some effort this year to try to get on Twitter, because there's tons of people who just spend time on Twitter or just spend time on YouTube and they don't come to these other platforms. So that's my #1 suggestion to everybody is spread yourself out, get everywhere that you can. But #1 is master one platform first and then start adding more to it. So guys, thanks for being here. I'm not seeing any chats yet, so hopefully you can hear me, but just give me a thumbs up or a yes I can or something like that. I just don't want to go for the whole hour if nobody can hear me. So we'll make this work for you guys. And again, we're going to do questions and answers at the end. So if you've got great questions and we'll see them come in, I'll be sure to get to all those at the very end. But I've got my notes here so we don't miss any of them. I got my 15 ideas on how to go live and what to talk about on Facebook. And so this isn't the guide on how to actually go live and how to set up your camera and how to get your mic going and all that, but this is literally once I'm live on my phone, what I can do with it and what content I should be talking about. Because I think so many agents struggle with, okay, I got the technology, now what? Where do I go from here, right? How do I communicate, and how do I bring value to my audience? And so I think that you can take a lot of these principles and understand that you may have to tweak them depending on your audience and where you are and what it is that you're doing, but these should be able to apply to most of you guys. So again, thank you for being here. I know that you guys are busy. It is springtime. Houses are selling like crazy, and it is a Thursday, so you're like trying to get ready for all your open houses and everything else. So thanks for spending time to be with us here today and learning and bettering your real estate knowledge. So tip number one, and you're gonna have to write these down because there's no way for me to show you guys all these. But tip number one is basically the top three things that you do to get your home ready for the market. So again, remember that all this content is going to the homeowner or the buyer or the seller, depending on how you want to situate it. It's just going to your audience of people that live in your farm, in your area, okay? So what do you do to get a home ready to hit the market, right? We're going to talk about staging possibly. We're going to talk about maybe making some repairs, painting things, doing inspections, decluttering, all that kind of stuff. You know all these things, but those are the kind of things that you can do live videos about. And again, most of these live videos are probably going to be on your phone, maybe on the location. You're going to be talking to your clients about these kind of things. You might even be talking with your clients about these kind of things. Doing interviews is one of the best ways that you can use the live feature, because rather than you just talking and you standing there, bring somebody else into the screen, right? If you can see me on the screen, put your arm around them, talk about them, and bring them into the element so that you can share your knowledge with them and then also your audience on Facebook or whatever platform that you are using. So one of the suggestions I would have is go and bring an assistant or a spouse or a kid, have them hold your phone, go over to a new listing that you have. And if they've signed the contract and they're ready to go, you might want to say, hey, we're with the Smiths today and we're at 123 Main Street and we're just getting their house on the market. And I want to talk to you about their home. But number one, I want to help you guys understand of what are some of the things that we're going to do to this house to bring it onto the market. The Smiths have lived here for 20 years. It's a beautiful home, but it needs some updates to get it ready and for it to sell for the most amount of money. So the Smiths and I are going to help them prepare their house by doing this, this, and this, and go through your list and talk about how you bring homes onto the market. So you can see that you're bringing value to the viewers and you're also bringing value to the Smiths and helping them showcase their house and get it ready to come to the market. Okay, so that's tip number one. Number two is, how should you choose your listing agent? So this is kind of a bit of a bragging opportunity, but it's going to help you show how you're different than all of the other real estate agents in your area. I actually just got off the phone with one of our clients, and he's selling a home for one of his family members in a different area. So I think it's his dad who's they're selling their house, but they don't live in the same area, so he can't, he doesn't have a license in that area, so he can't do it. So he's like, I've found another agent in that area who's going to help us with our family, and that way I don't have to be involved. My brothers and sisters don't have to worry about me selling this house. We hired somebody else. And he's like, the biggest thing that I've learned from this is that we do so much that nobody else offers. This agent was great, and they're the best ones that we had to choose from, but there's a lot of things that we as our team offer that this agent doesn't. It kind of frustrates me. I'm like, great, run with that, right? Show how you're different, because most homeowners don't know what an agent does, right? They look at these Redfin ads and they look at the general population of real estate agents and say, well, they come to my house, they stick a sign in the yard, they get the house on the market, they put it on the MLS, and a few weeks later, hopefully the house is sold. But what are you doing to be different as a real estate agent? How do you stand out? And if you make content about that and saying, look, this is what I do, and this is what other agents do, or this is how I've done it in the past, and this is how other agents do it, you don't want to put anybody specifically down, but if you show how you're different, it's going to come out that way. And again, if you put this content out there, the world's going to see and they're going to recognize the difference of you and most agents and want to work with you. Okay. Tip number three, and we're going to go through these pretty quick because we only have an hour. So hopefully you're taking good notes here. Number three is, what is the most important marketing a listing agent can provide? So again, you're kind of comparing yourself to other agents. You're showing them how you're different. If you just say, look, most agents are going to throw your house on the MLS and they're going to put a sign in your yard and hope for the best. Maybe some agents will hold an open house. This is what I do, right? I run social media ads. I have an open house event on Facebook. I drive traffic to my landing page that has all the information about your house. I've taken incredible photos. We've done a video walkthrough. We've gone live on Facebook and showcased your house to thousands of people. This is how I sell homes. You're going to stand out. If the homeowner is interviewing, 5, 6, 7 different agents, and they ask the other agents, how are you going to market my house? And they say, well, I got the sign in the front yard. What else do you want me to do? And you're coming over here with all this stuff and Facebook ads and Facebook Live and great content, you're going to stand out and you're going to win again. So maybe you go live again on your phone and you bring it over to that new listing on the first open house day and say, you know what, we got the sign of the yard, but we've also been running Facebook ads. We've spent this much money. We've been in front of this many people the last 5 days. Our open house, we're going to have 50 people here today. We are expecting 7 offers by the end of this week, whatever it is. How are you going to paint that picture to show your clients what it is that you do for them? Okay, tip number 4, biggest bang for your buck. Top 5 things to consider doing before you list your house. So we kind of talked about this in number 1, but what are the top 5 things that they can strategically spend their money on? When I was selling homes here in San Diego, we were selling on average about 200 homes per year, and about 70% of the homes that we sold, we actually improved that house. We would come in and replace the carpet. We would paint. We would upgrade kitchen countertops. We would refinish cabinets. We would upgrade master bathrooms. We would clean the house, right? Like just simple little things. Most of the time it was pretty easy in and out, 2 weeks or less. The granite took the longest because they had to come measurement, fabricate it, all that kind of stuff. But once that was in, new appliances would come in because oftentimes these appliances were from the late 80s, white or almond colored. So we just do some basic upgrades. And these upgrades were typically in the like $3,000 to $7,000 range. But by spending, on average of about $5,000, it brought in an additional $30,000 to $40,000 in our market. So it was a huge ROI for them. And so I would say that number 1, I mean, you guys know what you do in your market, but I'm just going to give you some ideas here. But number 1 is carpet. Carpet is cheap. It's easy. It's one of those things that people love. If it's gross, they don't want to put their kids down on the carpet when they're trying to show the house. That's going to be a big thing. Painting some of the walls, getting rid of the furniture, maybe spending a couple of dollars on a storage unit for a few months and holding that furniture somewhere else so the home looks decluttered. Whatever it is, talk about your top 5 things. Again, this is a great opportunity to go live in a house before you do all these things and then after to show the difference, So again, if you have your assistant or whatever and you're out, you're holding your phone with your selfie stick or however you want to do that, get out there, show the house and say, this is the Smith house and see this kitchen, we're going to put granite here. It's going to be amazing. We're going to replace these stainless steel appliances and talk about the money that you're going to spend and show them the ROI of what these investments are going to do for it. So cover your top 5. Okay. Number 6, how to make the most of an open house. So this is kind of the teaching method. And this is one of the things that we would do as well. We'd actually show the homeowners in our area how to sell their house for more money. So one of the things that we would do is we'd say, open houses help get exposure for you. Oftentimes it's going to bring us a lot of leads, but it also is going to get exposure. It's going to make it easier for other agents in the area to show the home. It's just going to be a great way to get a lot of eyeballs on it. There's oftentimes one of your neighbors who's going to know a buyer or somebody who's interested in it. This is how we do it. We would actually hold a neighborhood exclusive open house on, I think it was Thursday. I can't remember if it was Wednesday or Thursday, but I think it was Thursday night from like 4 till 7 o'clock. We'd invite all the neighbors, like 400 neighbors. We'd serve sandwiches. We'd have drinks. We had music playing. It was fun. We had usually 50 to 75 people show up on this neighborhood exclusive open house. And that was the first day that anybody could come into the house. So neighbors would bring their friends. We wouldn't invite people publicly to it, but obviously people would see the open house signs and they would come too. So it worked out for that. And then we'd have the Saturday and Sunday open house. Oftentimes we would do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it was like a 4-day mega open house. We would have well over 200 people come to this open house in those 4 days. And if you talk about that kind of exposure to your clients, it's definitely going to help win the listing appointment for you. It's going to help you get that contract. So again, if you're holding this neighborhood exclusive open house, maybe you pull out your phone, you go live for a bit, say, hey guys, Thursday night, we're doing another one of our great exclusive neighborhood open houses. This is the Joneses and they've lived in this neighborhood for 15 years. They love it. What do you guys love about this house? And does it look like yours? And how does your house compare to this? That was the biggest comment we always got. I have the same kitchen, but your kitchen looks amazing. How did you guys do this? And then it would get into what we do to houses and how we improve them before we sell them. So anyway, kind of a good one, how you can make the most of your open house. Tip number 7, running out of fingers here. Tip number 7, top 5 reasons why blank is an incredible community. So this is where we get pretty hyper local, right? So I live in a town called Carlsbad. And I love it here. I've been here for about 5 years. It's in North San Diego County in Southern California. And it's a huge tourist destination. Right now it's spring. People are on spring break coming in from Arizona and Utah and Vegas and all these other places. And people love coming here. And they spend a week at the beach. They spend all their vacation money to come here for a week. And it crowds our beaches and it crowds all the restaurants, but it's a lot of fun. But if I just created content to speak to the tourist and hoping that maybe I could sell them either a second home, or maybe they want to, come here when they retire, or maybe becomes an Airbnb for them, whatever. If there's opportunities like that in your area, there's a couple clients we've worked with in the South who have people who are moving to, the Carolinas to get out of New York and Ohio and all these cold states. If you've got that kind of move in or move out traffic, you can take advantage of that. You can also talk about just, hot, trendy things that are going on in your area. Why I love these restaurants, or why these parks are amazing, or why the school district is amazing here, and why you need to buy a house here, whatever that is. So what are basically the top 5 reasons of why my community is incredible? And again, maybe you go live out at the beach or at a park or at a public area so that people can kind of get to know these areas. One of the things that I did when I was starting our marketing company here is that every week on Friday, I would actually go out live. I'd get my tripod, get my phone out, and I would go live on Facebook. We call it Facebook Friday. And I would just show some of the different areas that were in our area, because people like being outdoors in Southern California, and it allowed me to share content with you guys in kind of a fun environment. But if you do something like that, it's easy to share. People like seeing other things besides just kind of a boring office or a green screen or something like that. So just being able to get outdoors and showcase your community and interview people too. If there's a great donut shop or a coffee shop or a breakfast place, sit down at one of the restaurants and just say, hey, I see that there's some fellow diners here. Do you mind if I talk to you while you're eating? And just say, why do you love this place? What makes this special for you to be here? And get some interaction from your community. Again, bringing other people into your videos is huge, because it allows you to get other people's opinions. They can talk about it. They can kind of sell things for you as well, instead of you just doing all the talking. Okay, which I'm doing a lot of here. But number 8, we're going through these pretty well here. Number 8 is 5 things you need to know as a first-time home buyer. Okay, so this is kind of more back to the instructional side of things. I think that you could work with some of your new clients. Like right now, I'm working with not a first-time home buyer, but their first time in the last couple of years since they've bought a house. And they're moving into the area, and they're just all over the place. Like, they don't know what they're doing, right? They got approved for a pretty good mortgage. And I hate to show houses, like more than about 20 houses, because it just means that we really haven't narrowed down what people are looking for. And so with these guys, I think that you could take the opportunity and sit down with a new buyer and just say, you know what? I can pull out your phone. I keep pulling out my phone. Sit down in your office, have a nice presentation, and basically say, you know what? I want to go over you guys some of the things that you need to think about as a first-time home buyer. So let's talk about mortgages. You guys got pre-approved. We don't need to get specific, but tell me about that situation. How did you meet with your lender? What were the docs that you needed? How did the process go? Was there any questions that you had for the lender that maybe you weren't able to address? Just talk about the different things that is going to happen with these first-time home buyers. I'm going to ask you a whole bunch of questions to find out what you're looking for in a house. We're going to go preview properties. When we see a property and it's really well priced, we need to move quickly because it may be under contract, right? You're prepping them for these things. So again, if you have your clients in on the camera with you, but you're talking to the camera and you're bringing value to your audience, it's going to help the audience that's watching you. And again, to kind of pause for a moment here as we're a little bit past halfway in these, is to understand that when people digest this content, it needs to kind of be in the evergreen format, right? Because yes, it's live, and yes, it'll go away and it'll be buried in your feed for a moment. But what you can do is actually download this content. Once it's up on Facebook, you can download this content and put it back into YouTube. So if you make a great video about why you want to live in Carlsbad, for example, I might upload that to YouTube and title it Top 5 Reasons Why You Should Live in Carlsbad. And people are going to search for this type of content, and you're going to get found and exposed. So if you're going to spend the time to create one video, upload it in other places so that people can have this content and consume it later. It might be 2, 3, 4 years from now, and people are still watching this video, and it's going to bring you results over time. So think about that in the strategies when you're creating content. And obviously, if it's something for the moment, or if it's about a new listing that you have, it's going to be sold in a week or two. It's not going to be evergreen. There's no point in putting that content out there. But if it's something that's relative to your audience in 2 or 3 or 4 years from now, and it's still relatable and it makes sense, share that content with everybody that can see it. Okay, I think we're on number 9. Okay, how do you decide what home is right for you and your family? This is a tricky one too, because like I said, with our clients right now that we're working with, they're looking for basically a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house that's between 1,800 and 2,000 square feet. Like, as simple as that is, that's as much criteria as they've given me. And I'm like, do you guys want a pool? It doesn't really matter. Do you want 1 story or 2? We don't really care. Do you want a big yard? Do you want grass? Do you want rocks? We don't really care. They do care, because every time we look at a house, we're like, oh, I don't like that yard, or I don't like this layout of the second floor, or I don't like these bedrooms. Like, they get picky, but they're not really sure what they're looking for. And so when you're talking to clients about looking at homes, this isn't a model home that you can change and design and have it work for you. It's what's available. And unless you're working with new homes and builders and things like that, that's different. But if you're just looking at homes on the market, and in our situation, most of these homes are 30, 40 plus years old. They need some work. They've been outdated. The kitchens are old. The carpet's nasty. Like, it's just what you have to deal with in this area sometimes. And you can't be too picky. So you've got to decide, look, for this price range, what am I willing to do, right? And if you educate your clients on the buying process and saying, look, you can make changes to houses. You can add on if that's in your pocketbook. You can upgrade the amenities. You can add a pool or add some grass or add up if you need to. Like, help them understand what's possible. So again, as you're previewing properties or looking at properties, that's one of the things that I've enjoyed, is being able to say, let me help you think outside the box. There's this one area that we were looking at homes, and most of the homes are single stories, and they were pretty small. They were either 2 or 3 bedroom houses, but a lot of the people now wanted a 4 bedroom house. And so they were able to either add back to the house, or they were able to add up and put a staircase in and add some more bedrooms upstairs. And so if you went to these houses and you said, look, this is a great community, but back in the day, these houses were pretty small. Most people are wanting to add on. We've looked at a couple of their homes. Let me just show you what's a possibility with this house. You're going to buy it for X, and maybe talk about the sales price and say, for X amount of money, you could add on to the back, and you could do this, and you could change the layout here, just showing them some of the things that are possible. And obviously you want to paint a realistic picture, maybe get some numbers from contractors, or even interview a contractor over there and say, look, John the contractor, if you're going to add on a kitchen back here and it's going to be a 20 by 20 foot area, how much would you charge to do something like this? And let's roll through some numbers and see what this could do for this house. And let's just call it $50,000. If I spent $50,000 on this new kitchen and we bought the house for $400,000, what's the house going to be worth now when I'm done? Maybe it's worth $500,000, so you have some instant equity in the property. I'm just giving you round numbers to show you some ideas here, but that's the kind of content people love. They like seeing that HGTV type of content, right? And that's why HGTV is so big. So if you introduce that on a live format, it works even better. Okay, number 10. Number 10, who pays for what? This is another great one to bring into your lender or the escrow title, depending on where you are and how you close houses. But going through the HUDs, right, and talking about who pays for the inspection, who pays for the home warranty, who pays for what side of the insurance policy. These are questions that most people don't know as far as buyers and sellers, right? So when you get down to the table and everyone's signing, you're like, wait, why am I paying for that? Or what does this number mean? Explain these things. So I would encourage you to interview your lender, your escrow, title company on a monthly basis, because there's probably content that you can share with them pretty regularly that's going to help the buyer and the seller understand what it is that they're going to be going through. So again, pull out your phone, get someone to hold it, get a tripod, whatever, get a good mic, and sit down at the table and just say, hey, let's go through an example HUD today and lay out the numbers and see, for a $400,000 house, if I were to buy it, what am I responsible for? What are the fees that I'm going to have to pay? How much out of pocket am I going to have to deal with, right? So understand those numbers. So that can be a good one, just kind of explaining these things. And maybe every week you pick a different house, you talk about different situations. Maybe you do a rent back situation. I don't know, just come up with different hypothetical situations that maybe some of your clients have gone through. Okay, number 11. Give me 2 fingers here. 3 tips for finding a trusted mortgage professional. So you may interview your mortgage professional, your mortgage lender, get them on video and say, I keep making up names. Dave, it's been great working with you these last couple of years. You are an outstanding lender, but I know you're not the only choice out there. So why should somebody work with you? And have them share, what it is that they offer their clients and how they work with first-time home buyers and how they pre-approve clients before they put an offer on a listing that you have. What is it that they do? And if you have multiple lenders, you may say, look, I'm going to interview a couple of you guys and show what it is to work with you guys and the value that you bring to them. And you may on the side just say, look, let me step aside from my lender and say, these are the things that you should ask, how quickly can you fund? Where do you get your money from? And what's the process of that? How do you determine the value of a house? If I do an appraisal and it comes in too low, what are my options? Just anyway, the things that a buyer should ask their lender. We've had clients work with big banks like Chase and Wells Fargo and Bank of America. We've had other ones work with credit unions, and there is a major difference between these two kind of lending institutes, right? So do you want to work with the community lender? Do you want to work with the big bank? Do you want to work with somebody in between? Here's the pros and the cons. There's a lot of advantages and disadvantages to that. Maybe you go interview a credit union, maybe you interview a big bank and see how the two kind of work together and how different they are for that client and some of the frustrations that they may have to go with. I remember when we were selling homes probably about 8 or 9 years ago, I was really getting to know more about the lending side of it because we were getting offers from people, and then at the last minute their financing would fall through because they hadn't gone through all the hoops that their lender needed them to, or they were working with such a small bank that they didn't even know what they were doing. Most of the banks that people were buying homes with back then were auto loan institutes, right? They were great at lending on schools and autos, but they weren't great at funding houses. So it would take them 65, 70 days to close a loan. And I quickly realized I don't want to work with these type of banks because I'm trying to sell these houses and close as fast as possible. So we had this whole list of everything that the lender had to do right up front before we'd even consider working with that client. So again, these are some of the things that you can kind of share with your clients live and help them understand the differences between lenders and how they all work together. Okay. Let's see, number 12, this is kind of the same line. The top questions to ask your lender. So again, as you meet with them, what do I need to do to show that I can borrow money? Is there, I'm going blank here right now, pre-approval letter that I can get? Is there a proof of qualification? Is there a DULP that I can get from you? How do I show my proof of funds? Is there a letter that I need from my bank? Just what are the things that I'm going to have to go through over these next 30 days as we start to close this loan? How fast can you close, right? Is there anything last minute that may come up? Is there any fees that you haven't disclosed to me that I need to worry about? Excuse me. Sorry about that. The other question is, if we get down to it and something happens, is there anything that I can do to make this close? If I have to come in with more money, is that an option? Just what are the questions that I need to ask my lender so that I know that they've got my back, that they're able to close? And again, pull out your phone, go interview the lender, see what kind of questions he's going to get asked, see what kind of responses he's going to give or she's going to give, he or she's going to give. And maybe even interview a first-time home buyer and just put them on the spot and say, you know what, Sarah, we'll call her Sarah. Sarah, if you're going to meet with a lender for the first time, what are the questions that you would ask a lender? How would you come to this table and say, look, I don't know anything about the mortgage process. I'm curious about how my loan's going to go, and get them to say, those are great questions. These are things that you should ask in addition to this, this, and this. So again, you're speaking to the audience on the camera, not the person that's with you on camera. So what's the value that they're going to get out of these conversations? Okay, and these last ones are going to go pretty quick here, but number 13 is the top 5 favorite local restaurants and why. So I tell people this all the time. Real estate can be kind of boring. And I know we've gone through some fun ones and some interesting topics. It's not just listed, and it's not an open house, and it's not just sold. But you got to kind of make it more interesting. People care more about other things than they do just about real estate. And if they're in the process of buying a house today and they're looking at houses every single day trying to find that dream house, or they're on the market and they're thinking about, how much am I going to get for my house and where am I going to go next and how fast is this going to close, then they're digesting that type of content. But if they're just homeowners in the area and selling their house is 6 or 12 or 18 months away, and you're trying to attract these future clients because you want them to work with you and become more aware of what it is that you offer, or you want to get referrals out of the people that like your content as well, you might need to talk about some other things besides real estate. So talking about the local area, restaurants is a big one because people love to eat, right? People love to eat. I remember we lived in this one area, and within a mile radius of our house, we lived in a suburb area. Like, it was not a busy downtown area, but surrounded by houses within a mile radius, there was over 100 different restaurants around there to eat. Like, no shortage of places to eat. And it's easy to, to just eat out all the time, and people love to eat. So besides the chains, like Chili's and Taco Bell and McDonald's and all that kind of stuff, maybe find some local flares that are fun, that you can help bring value to the restaurant owner, but then you can also bring value to the consumer, the person who's in this area who loves to eat. And you go down to the restaurant owner, pull out your phone, and you say, hey, Dave, you've got this famous rib place here. Let's talk about your meats and talk about your sauces and how you cook this. And what it is that you offer, and tell me about happy hour, and what do you guys do on the weekends around here, and just make it fun. And maybe you go interview them on happy hour and show all the people that are there and the specials that they have. There's a lot of fun things that you can do with that. So go talk to the top 5 local restaurants in your area that you want to bring some business to. And maybe you say, look, I've negotiated a deal with the owner. If you come in and you mention my name, the real estate agent, he'll save 10% off your bill or whatever it is, and work that out with the owner, but have some value that they can get out of it. People love to eat, and I think that they would love to know what's going on. If there's a new restaurant in town, maybe you interview the new restaurant and say, look, you're new here. What do you provide? And how are you doing it? And where do you get your stuff from? And how are you different from the other 6 restaurants just like you in town? Whatever it is, bring some attention to that restaurant owner. And in that same kind of mentality, go to local boutiques. So again, we're super touristy around here. There's a lot of surf shops. There's a lot of like clothing places that are kind of boutique-y here, and just unique stuff. So you have those same type of things in your area, right? The little one-off shop that's like a storefront in Main Street that is unique, and they don't have the big marketing budget, and they don't have the ability to promote ads and all that kind of stuff. So bring attention to them and help work with their clients, because I guarantee if they're a staple in your community and they're selling jewelry or handbags or sunglasses or swimsuits or whatever it is, there's going to be a following that they have, and you can work with your audience. So when you go live on any of these type of businesses, whether it's a restaurant or a boutique or something like that, you're going to go live and you're actually going to tag their business in your video. Okay. So what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to reach all their audience, because as soon as you go live, it's going to show up on their page as well. And you're going to be with the owner right here being like, hey, we're down here at Jill's jewelry shop, and we're talking about earrings today, and you guys repair watches and all that. That's incredible. I love to connect with your audience and what it is that you do and how you do it and how you price your services. And let me talk about me for a second, just so that you know who I am, so that their audience gets to know you. You don't want to make it all about you. You want to make it about Jill and bringing value to her and bringing value to the viewers that are checking in. Okay. Maybe you do a Q&A, right? So how do you design rings? How do you maintain watches? Get some questions on the live feed. That's one of the cool things that Facebook offers, is that as you go live, you can see the stream of feed coming in, and it allows you to interact with the viewers. And maybe you're too young at this or too new and you don't have a big enough following. You might have to have several hundred followers to get the comments and people checking in live, but it makes it more fun and it makes it more interactive. And I think that that's the beauty of what a live format does, is it allows anything to happen, right? It's not scripted, it's live. They know that, anything can happen in the moment. They know that they can participate and all that too. So find a local business. And then the last one of these 15 is local parks. And I would extend that to other local amenities. So, we have a ton of great beaches around here. They're all different. Some are on a cliff with nowhere to go except for surf. Some of them are more flat and they have restaurants around there and easy parking. Maybe you have some parks with big grassy areas that you can play soccer on. Maybe there's swings and other vending around there. We live, or just south of us is San Diego, and you have Mission Bay. You've got trails all over. You've got boat rentals. There's so many fun things that you can talk about. So find fun parks, find fun things going on in your area. Talk about why people live there, why they love it. And again, if there's people searching for your town online and saying, this is an area that I would want to live someday, they're going to find your content. It's going to resonate with them. Have your advertisement at the end of it. If you'd want to move to this area, call me. I would love to show you around and show you some of the homes that are available. But make it mostly like 90% content, 10% about you. Okay? 90% content, 10% around you. And at the end, again, wrap up with, here's how you get a hold of me. Here's my contact info, or send me a direct message so that we can start the home process search for you, whatever that is. Okay, so there's a lot to consider here, right? And that's the point, is I want to give you guys enough that you can say, look, I like numbers 3, 6, and 8, or whatever it is. I'm going to run with that, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to try it. That's my goal for you. Just try something new. Most of you have struggled with the, I'm good at creating Facebook ads, or I'm good at generating leads, or I'm good at running an open house advertisement to get people to my open house. But beyond that, they don't know what else to say. And I want to just kind of give you a few elements and a few ideas of how do I bring more content and more value to my clients on a regular basis. Here, Alicia, coming back. You come back to check in with us?
Yep. I was just seeing if I don't see any questions in the question box, but I'll give you guys a minute. If you have a question, please put it in the question box now. We'll wait a minute or two.
Yeah, get your questions in there. Well, guys, I'm glad that we could be here today, and it's always fun teaching these kind of courses. Again, these are just to help you do more with your social media. You know, I think that the world is changing quickly, and you know, with over 2 billion people on Facebook throughout the world, it makes it so easy to communicate with people, so easy to get your message out there and let more people know about what it is that you do. You know, before you'd have to pick up the phone and send postcards and buy big billboards and take out messages in the phone book and buy bus benches. But now for just pennies, you can reach thousands of people. So there's never been a better opportunity for you guys to get your message out there about what you do in real estate and showing, again, how you're different. There's so many of you. So how do you stand out? How do you bring more value to your clients than all the other real estate agents that are out there, right?
All right.
Okay.
I don't see that there's any questions. So thank you everyone so much for joining us, and a huge thank you, Eric, for hosting this month's webinar and giving a great presentation. Have a great day, and everyone, and we hope to see you next time.
Bye, guys. Thanks.